Hey, Shalom Akyam. First off, I want to say Thawada, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, for giving me the spirit to do this video. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. And just want to come at you real quick with this video. As you see, the video that you just watched is it's called UFOs are destroyed, or multiple UFOs are destroyed by lightning. Okay? And what these Edomites don't understand, which it was an Edomite, from my understanding, it was an Edomite, so-called white person, okay? For people who don't know, okay, the so-called white race are the biblical Edomites, Esau in the Bible, all right? And he's speaking on this video, and he thinks that lightning can destroy an angel, basically, of what the white man calls UFOs, okay? When out of the UFOs go forth lightning. See, that's the beauty about being an Israelite, waking up to this truth, and the Lord supping with you, and you getting understanding. Because the other nations don't have this understanding, over and over trying to figure out things that really they don't have no business, and they have no clue, because the Lord ain't dealing with them. So once again, the lightning destroys multiple UFOs when an angel can't be destroyed, all right? But I'm going to read a couple of scriptures that I put together. Not only does the angels bring forth lightning, but the lightning is going to play a part along with the nuclear missiles to destroy Esau, the so-called white race, okay, and to bring forth judgment on earth, okay? And the first scripture I'm going to go to is Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 13. It says, as for the likeness of the living creatures, now obviously when you start at the beginning and read through, it's speaking about the description of the angels, okay, the angels of the Most High God, all right? As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creature, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. Out of the mix of it, okay, went forth lightning. How it's going to shoot forth lightning, but then the lightning is going to destroy it, okay? When it tells you that the angels has the appearance of lightning. So once again, it's beautiful to know these scriptures and beautiful to be an Israelite to understand this knowledge. Now let's go to 2nd Esdras. Okay, we go to 2nd Esdras 16 chapter. I'm gonna read verse 8 all the way, well, I'm gonna read verse 7, Salakia, all the way to verse 11. It says, may one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. Okay, talking about this war, this third war that's about to brew up, that's already brewing, but it's about to get to the max, and meaning it's gonna start getting ramped up. Third war, okay? So that's what it means by when it says, may one turn again the arrow that is shot from the strong archer, because America is destined for judgment. So it ain't gonna turn back, because the Most High has preordained it, you know. Okay, let's go to 8. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? Verse 9. A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? Okay, because there's going to be two ways that fire is going to be getting dished out. One way is going to be by the nuclear missiles, and the other way is going to be by the angels casting out lightnings, man. Casting out thunderbolts, beams, okay? Not being destroyed by their own lightnings, by their own beams, Okay, a fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? Verse 10, he shall cast lightnings. He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? Right, because not only he's going to shoot those nuclear missiles, okay, from these different countries to land on predominantly America, which is the judgment of America, aka Babylon the Great in Revelations, but he's also going to consume it with these chariots, man, which what the white man calls UFOs. And in the mix of the UFOs are angels, okay? And those angels can cast out fire, cast out lightnings, okay? And when you look at a lightning, and from different videos you can find, which you've seen lightning before, but there's some videos where it's lightning close up, where it's like, I mean close, okay? And you can see how it looks. It looks like it's like a blast of fire, man. A beam blast of strong extraterrestrial fire, man. Okay? And as soon as that lightning touches something, it automatically burns it, man. Blasts it, cuts it in half. Okay? So verse 10 again. He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? Verse 11. The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? Now, when you read in 2nd Esdras 13 chapter, which I'm going to get to in a little bit, it goes into that laser beam blasting these militaries that's coming to fight the Lord, making them turn into powder, showing you that missiles is going to be judgment, okay? These thermonuclear missiles that bring forth fire, and these lightning bolts, these lightnings, okay, these beams coming out these chairs are going to be judgment. It's going to be happening simultaneously, okay? Simultaneously is going to be happening, all right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 21. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad. Okay, those missiles are going to go abroad. But check out what it says. Let me start over. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds. Now, didn't it say in Revelations 1 and 7, behold, I come as clouds, and every eye shall see? Well, what are the clouds? The chariots. What are the chariots? The so-called UFOs. What is in the mix of those UFOs? Angels. What does the angels shoot forth? Let's go back. Ezekiel 1 and 13. Read that again. Ezekiel 1 and 13. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning, thunderbolts, beams. All right, let's go back to Wisdom Solomon 5:21. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, shall they fly to the mark. Because those nuclear missiles are going to hit the mark that the Most High Yahweh, which is his name, okay, his son's name, who the world called Jesus, is Yahweh Shai. They're going to make those missiles hit his mark, man. And the main mark, the main target is America, okay, rightfully so. Okay, the main target, and for all you proud to be Americans, okay, you are the target. Okay, those thunderbolts, those beams are going to fly right to the mark. Whatever the destination that the Most High and the Son, Yahweh Shai, want it to hit is going to hit. Okay, so once again, it's going to be a mixture, man. It's going to be a mixture of the missiles dropping and simultaneously those beams coming out of those so-called UFOs. Okay, let's go to Psalms 144. 144, I'm going to start at, so Psalms 144, verse 5. Bow thy heavens, O Lord, and come down. Touch the mountains. Talking about the kingdoms, okay? These countries, these governments, these rulerships, okay? Why? Because the mountains didn't do nothing. Okay? These are kingdoms that's ruining the world, all right? So it says, touch the mountains and they shall smoke. Verse 6, cast forth lightning and scatter them. Okay, shoot out thine arrows, those nuclear arsenal, nuclear missiles. So once again, simultaneously, it's going to be those lightnings, okay, those beams coming out those chariots, which what the white man call UFOs, and these nuclear missiles, man, that were made to destroy, to bring forth fire. They're both going to bring forth fire, man. So it says, cast forth lightnings and scatter them, shoot out thine arrows and destroy them. Point blank and clear. Okay, let's go to Psalms chapter 18, and we're going to start at 7. The earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken. Okay, because he was wroth. Right, these kingdoms were shaken, man. The earth was shaken because of the energy that the Most High and the Son brought down from the heavens, man, to bring forth judgment, man. Okay, immortal extraterrestrial energy coming down from a whole other realm to this realm. All right, so let's go to 8, verse 8. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. Okay, now key word, there went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth. Keep the whole mouth, that word, in your brain, because that's going to come back up in 2nd Esdras 13 chapter. The nostrils, the breath coming out of the mouth. So you know it's talking about that beam. Okay, it's talking about that blast beam coming out of them chariots, man. Once again, it's gonna be a nice mixture going on, man. Okay, a nice mixture. Let's jump to verse 12 in the same chapter. At the brightness that was before him, his thick cloud passed, hailstones and coals of fire. Verse 13, the Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, okay, out of his mouth, okay, which once again, it says in this chapter, the key word mouth, and it says it again out of his mouth in 2nd Esdras 13. So keep that in mind. Read the scripture back over, verse 13. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Verse 14. Yeah, he sent out his arrows, those nuclear missiles, okay, from these militaries, and the spirit is the Most High's weapons. He put it in their minds to make it for a war, to bring forth the kingdom of heaven, all right? Because it was part of his will. So verse 14, yeah, he sent out his arrows and scattered them. And he shot out lightnings. He shot out lightnings and discomfited them. And discomfited them, man. Meaning they were scared, man. They were trembling. They were having heart attacks. Okay? They lost their mind. Because you got war going on. Okay, a nuclear war going on. The earth trembling. Quakes happening. Missiles dropping. But then you got so-called UFOs, okay, which people think is just a movie. They go to the movies and think it's just a comic book. No, man. And it's going to discomfort them. Just by the presence of them, it's going to discomfort them. Let alone shooting out beams and fire. Okay. So it said he shot out lightnings and discomforted them. I'm going to go back to Ezekiel again. 1 and 13. Let's read that again. As for the lightness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps, and went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. See, okay, so back to that Edomite's point in his video. Okay, ain't no lightnings, okay, destroyed multiple angels, man. They cast forward and bring forth lightning out of themselves. All right. So verse 14 back in Psalms 18. Yeah, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. Okay. Verse 15. Then the channels of the waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils. You hear that? The blast of the breath of thy nostrils. That fiery blast came out. All right? And those blast, like I said, the blast gonna come out two different ways. The blast gonna be from these nuclear missiles that's gonna blow up, okay, and cause a big lake of fire that's gonna bring forth, and the blast of fire that comes out of these chariots, okay, which when you look at the lightnings and videos during storms, you see how the lightnings comes and hits trees and splits it and causes fires and destroys houses and kills people in certain instances, man. All right, that's that blast, man. That's what comes out of the chariot, man. All right, so let's go to 2 Esdras 13, starting at verse 6. It says, "But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself." He is talking about, this is Esdras, okay? He had the vision, and he's seeing the Lord, Yahushua, coming down from the heavens, man. And this is what he saw. He said, "But I behold, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain," okay, and flew up upon it. Right, meaning that mountain is speaking of because it was big, because mountains are huge. So it's symbolically call it a mountain because the so-called UFO that the Lord Yahushua was in, who the world calls Jesus Christ, was in a huge spaceship, which you see on Independence Day, okay, and certain other movies where they show it. They show a huge spaceship that's like so huge where, I mean, it makes everything dark up under it because it's just taking up all the space. All right. So I'm reading 6 again. "But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it." Verse 7. "But I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not." That spaceship, that UFO, so-called UFO, took up a lot of space. Verse 8. "And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yes, durst fight." Because these militaries are going to be fighting each other. That's why it says the Lord is gathering these militaries together to fight in the World War III. But these militaries are going to turn and fight against a whole other power beyond themselves, an extraterrestrial power. It said they were afraid, but yes, durst fight. Why? Because the Most High put the spirit on them to fight. That proud spirit he put on Pharaoh when he let the Israelites go, okay, to continue to change his mind and to go after them anyway into the split sea. And what happened? Pharaoh and his chariots and his army got drowned. All right. Verse 9. "And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand," talking about Yahushua, "nor held sword, nor any instrument of war." Because he don't need that. Once again, extraterrestrial power. Verse 10. "But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth." Oh, remember I read in the other scriptures about the mouth? Okay? About he cast out of his mouth, because it comes back here. Okay? Start over. "But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast." Did I not read a blast in Psalms 18? Let's go back to Psalms 18. Chapter 18, verse 15. "Then the channels of the waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke," meaning at the Lord's coming. All right? When he appeared. "O Lord, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils." Once again, that's describing those laser beams coming out of the chariots, man, out of the so-called UFOs. Okay, let's go up to the 8th verse of this chapter to read that scripture earlier I read about the mouth. "There went up smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it." Let's go back to 2 Esdras 13, verse 10. "But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests." Flaming breath, okay, out of his nostrils, like it says in the other scriptures. Okay. Verse 11. "And they were all mixed together," like you see in the lightnings, okay? Like you see in the lightnings, man. I'm actually in this video with a couple of those videos, okay, of those lightnings and people being close to those lightnings, okay? And you can see it's a fiery tempest, burning coal mixed together, combustion that's mixed together. Read 11 again from the top. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burnt them up everyone. Right, that lightning came down. Okay, and it came out of the mouth of those so-called UFOs, man. So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Okay, so Edra saw a scary vision, and it says key word, but only dust and smell of smoke, meaning when that lightning hit him, when that beam hit him, okay, they just turned. That beam was so strong and so powerful, they just turned into dust. Because when you see like during storms, you see lightnings, and you know, it looks all beautiful and just like, man, scary, you know, intriguing all at once. Oh yeah, they're gonna turn to powder, man. They're gonna turn to powder, man. Ain't gonna be no news flash, no news reports about a little girl. She was playing soccer. She got hit by the lightning and she broke her arm. The lightning kind of burnt her arm a little bit. Nah, man. It's gonna be a direct execution, okay, through the spirit of Yahweh, which is the Most High name, and Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Okay. So the last point I make, it says, but only dust and smell of smoke. Okay. Now you go back to 2nd Esdras 16 chapter, verse 11. So back at 2nd Esdras 16, verse 10 and 11. He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? So that powder as his presence linked back up to 2nd Esdras 13, verse 11, at the end of it, when it says, but only dust, he said, but nothing was to be perceived, meaning of those military men that came to fight and that lost the battle very quickly. Nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. Yeah, beaten to powder at his presence. Okay, with that, I want to say, the water, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, for giving me the spirit to do this video, man. And double honor to the elders of Great Millstone once again. And shalom to you brothers out there doing this work. And like I said, this video, nailing the point of nuclear missiles along with the lightnings, the beams, the laser beams, is going to be judging these people. Okay? Shalom.
Big anvil strike last night.
I wasn't even out.
Fuck yeah!
turn on camera is no lightning logic. Right, got that one. Got it. Fuckers. Actually got that.
Además, acá se te cayó, Juanito.
Wow!
Wow! Wow! Shit! Oh my god! That's just scared the shit out of me now!
Article connected school display to
Chico, mami, que mira. El norte está. ¡Vete!